What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack.
Trump's so insane, dude. He's melding down about the Arctic Frost FBI investigation, which was like when Donald Trump was trying to overturn the 2020 election. Also looked into like these giant, well-connected organizations that Trump was teaming up with, like Turning Point, right? Why wouldn't they? You were trying to overturn the election. They were espousing all your ideas. Why wouldn't the FBI be looking at that? Like, holy fuck.
We were raised to lose the race.
I'm so tired. I didn't get hardly any sleep tonight. I've been gone all day to a golf tournament for Liam. So I'll be on here for a little bit, but not super long. Uh-oh. Went too far. All right, here we go.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes
Thank you for your
and I'm
subscription.
just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Trump is melting down over on Truth Social. So it says, why was the wonderful turning point under investigation by deranged Jack Smith and the corrupt, incompetent Biden administration? They tried to force Charlie and many other people and movements out of business. They weaponized the Justice Department against sleepy Joe Biden's political opponents, including me. They allowed the daughter of a judge on one of the corrupt trials against me to become the biggest fundraiser for Biden and Kamala, making many millions of dollars for herself and her family. But with her father, the judge not only refusing to recuse himself, but putting a gag order on me, not allowing any talk about their family, corruption, and unprecedented conflict of interests. Every leading legal analyst and pundit said this trial was wrong and should not have been allowed to go forward, but it did because of a corrupt judge who will hopefully pay a very big price for his legal actions someday. Like he's goddamn lost it, dude. Kash Patel melting down in front of Congress today. Oh, it's been a mess. Everything's been a mess. He was there for like, at least the video shows like 4.5 hours. But there was some pretty intense clips. Let's see. Kash Patel's just trying to get back to Valhalla.
The FBI failed to review the evidence at the time, but the
by the way, of course, I think that Turning Point should have been investigated. I think that Alex Jones and InfoWars should have been investigated. Trump was trying to overturn the election. He did so with this fake elector scheme. And we needed to know the people that were his really good friends with gigantic movements. We need to know how involved they were.
Comey FBI failed to review the evidence at the time. After nearly a decade in the shadows, this information has now come to light thanks to Dr. Patel, or Director
He's cross-eyed as fuck.
Patel. Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, during your confirmation hearing, you made several important commitments. For instance, you told Senator Coons there will be no politicization at the FBI. There'll be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director. So let me ask you very specifically, did you ever take any action to terminate or discipline an FBI agent or employee in whole or in part as retribution for being part of an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
No.
You also committed, you assured Senator Blumenthal, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. So you're testifying today that you played no role in the firing of even a single FBI agent for political retribution.
None for political retribution.
And if any FBI agent said you
Anybody that worked on January 6th was fired.
did, they would be lying. Is that your testimony?
I'm only speaking to my actions. Everybody is allowed to make their allegations.
Well, no, these are allegations against you.
And
so, Mr. Patel, if FBI, senior FBI agents or employees said that you were firing them for political retribution reasons because of the cases they were assigned, you're saying they would be lying.
Anyone that was terminated at the FBI was done so for failing to meet the standards, uphold their constitutional oath, and effectuate the mission.
Well, by meet the standards, are you talking about meet the standards of protecting the president under any circumstance?
No.
You also guaranteed Senator Blumenthal that every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard. No one will be terminated for case assignments. Are you testifying today that you never terminated?
He lied to Congress under oath while he was being confirmed, right? When they asked him about January 6th and the MAGA choir and the money that he made off that and the fundraising he did for the people that were locked up after January 6th, like he lied about everything.
Terminated anyone at the FBI in whole or in
Direct quotes. They were reading direct quotes that they had from his podcast, and he told them, no, I never said that.
part because of a prior case assignment.
No one at the FBI is terminated for case assignments alone.
Well, I'm asking about you, Mr. Patel. Did you, in whole or in part, terminate anyone at the FBI because they worked on the Trump investigation or because they worked on January 6th?
No one at the FBI has been terminated for case assignments alone.
Okay, you're saying alone. Does that mean they were terminated in part because they were assigned?
Yes, that's exactly what that means. He took everybody that said that January 6th, and then they just said, oh, well, you're failing to meet the standards.
To a January 6th case or assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case? You're being very precise here, Mr. Patel. You're saying alone. That means they were fired in part because they were assigned those cases. Is that your testimony?
Absolutely not. But if you want to keep
Okay,
putting words
well,
in my mouth,
then
go
let me
ahead.
ask you, let's strip away the word alone. Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees.
I'm
since
asking you a very specific
And I'm
question.
going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's
No,
the truth.
I
and it guts
want
your
to answer my
narrative.
question. I don't want to answer someone else's question. So let me just be precise, and I ask for a yes or no answer. Did you ever terminate or discipline an FBI employee in whole or in part because they had been assigned or worked on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or
FBI
no?
employees are only
By the way, they didn't pick. It's not like the FBI shows up and they're like, I want to work on January 6th stuff today. Like, they were assigned these cases, and then they did them, and then they were fired for it afterwards.
terminated
Yes
if
or
they
no,
failed to
Mr.
uphold their oaths of
Yes or
office
no?
and duty.
You're not
at the
answering my
FBI
question.
I
You're
don't
not
have to
answering my
answer your
question.
question yes or no because you're setting up a trap so you can have a
No,
media
I'm not
narrative.
setting up a trap.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Unless it's true that you fired people.
People
in
have
whole
been
or in part
terminated at
because
the
they
FBI who failed to uphold
were
the
assigned
standards
to.
that the FBI requires them to uphold.
Did you tell anyone at the FBI that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
Say that I would remove people for case assignments?
That people that were identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
People are not removed
Just
for
answer
case
my question.
assignments.
Just answer my question. Did you
Did you tell somebody that? Even if you're saying you didn't do that, did you tell somebody that?
Remove for case
No,
assignments.
you're not answering my question.
And I would
Mr.
never
Patel,
tell anyone.
Did you tell someone at the FBI that FBI employees identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Yes or no? Did you tell someone that?
I would never tell anyone at the FBI that they're being removed for basically their case assignments.
Okay, so anyone who said that would be lying. Is that your testimony?
Anyone can say whatever they want.
No, I know, but you're saying they were a liar.
I'm telling you what I said.
Because this is in the complaint against you, Mr. Patel. So you're saying Mr. Driscoll and others are liars.
I'm not going to address the complaint in the
Okay,
ongoing
well then let me ask
litigation.
you, have you ever told anyone at the FBI that the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten, and that your job depended on the removal of agents who worked on cases against the president?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay. Did you ever tell anyone that you knew these summary firings you were undertaking were illegal, likely illegal, and that you would be sued and later deposed? Did you ever tell anyone that?
No firings at the FBI or terminations were done for anything other than justified
Did you ever
cause.
tell anyone that, Mr.
No,
Patel? Why don't you
no
answer my question?
terminations at the FBI were ever done in my tenure for anything other than failing
Did you ever
to
tell anyone
uphold
that,
their
Mr. Patel? You
oaths
willing to
of
answer the
office
question?
or The FBI.
I guess you're not
have
willing to answer the
answered
question. So let me move on. Let me move on to the FCC.
Did you ever tell anybody that? Let's say none of these firings were like that, but did you ever tell anybody like, oh, fuck, I'm going to be deposed later because these likely aren't going to hold up in court?
Files. You said you're the most transparent FBI director in history, so I'm going to put you to the test. In 2024, you were asked by Glenn Beck about Epstein's Black Book. And you said, he asked, who has Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book? And you said, Black Book, FBI. And he said, but who? That is, I mean, there's, and you said, oh, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI. That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a
No.
couple
Was it
years
true
ago.
what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying?
No,
Was it
but-
true that the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book,
He said this on multiple podcasts. He said the same thing to Joe Rogan. Said that it was exactly at the FBI director level, and then he became FBI director, and boom, nothing.
was in the possession of the FBI director?
The Black Book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the Black Book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book?
What is known as Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book has been released
Okay,
by us.
and you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because
Has Epstein's Black Book been released? Obviously not.
he asked you, and I'll be very precise here,
They fucked it up. So, dude, they came out and said, "Oh, we caught the guy." Oh, wait, no, we didn't. And then they come out again and said, "Oh, we caught the guy." And they said, "Oh, wait, no, we didn't." They're like, "Oh, finally, we caught the guy. We did it." And it really was his dad turned him in. But then Cash Patel wants credit because they decided to release the photos.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited, and Senator Kennedy
tracked to nobody.
And you said for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that
Trafficked
all the Epstein,
to no one?
That Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question.
I said the information that 3 administrations have had access to have made determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm specifically stating
what is your testimony today?
You just read it, and I said it 10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my testimony.
I just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise. And
is her name Guifer? Is that how you say it? I've always said Guffrey, but I knew I was probably saying it wrong. Is her name Guifer?
Today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. And
Well,
you can say whatever you want.
Let me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, she said,
please, how did we put a sexual offender in a day camp?
but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters.
Yeah, the rifle together apart. That's still fucking crazy. I was trying to think of, I guess a person could have, which I don't even think this is what they're claiming, but a person could have like the butt, like if he has a backpack, he could have like the butt stock at the base of their neck and the barrel run down your shirt. If for some way you could hold it in place that way. Maybe if it's even wrapped like with an ace bandage or some type of compression. And then that would be like, it's 40 some inches, right? It's not quite 4 feet. That would still be like in the seat of your pants. And that would take away your limp walk or whatever. I don't know. That's wild. I don't know where the fucking gun went after the shooting.
Of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet who you value as your coworkers and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors. A man wants sexual favors, he will find out. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that.
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking boomer talking. It does not sound like someone who's terminally online and that's young. It sounds like his dad.
And the next question Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, asked is not who in the cabinet. Who are you referring to? His question is, so when's the last time you think you were with Mr. Epstein when he got a massage? So let me ask you, who are those cabinet members that Ghislaine Maxwell, So the next question, if he was a cast of characters of which she said, but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet who you value as your coworkers and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors.
So she alleged that some of the cabinet members were with Epstein because they were creeps or wanted.
Telling American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. And you can say whatever you want.
Let me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell,
I got to slow this down.
She said, but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet.
Okay, so she's saying, I don't think they were coming there for sexual favors because if you met these guys, they're like cabinet members. They're like your cabinet members. And you didn't even ask.
Who you value as your coworkers and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors.
Right. I don't think they would be there if because he's a creep or wanted sexual favors. But then they didn't even ask who.
A man wants sexual favors. He will find out. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that. And the next question Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, asked is not who.
Dude, there is no doubt in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind that if you're inconvenient enough for the government that they can put fucking CP on your computer. I know that's like conspiracy level, like fucking there's no doubt in my mind they can do that.
In the cabinet, who are you referring to? His question is, so when's the last time you think you were with Mr. Epstein when he got a massage? So let me ask you, who are those cabinet members that Ghislaine Maxwell was referring to that, that were part of this cast of characters associated with Mr. Epstein? Who are they?
The Deputy Attorney General took the aggressive step that no one else did and interviewed Miss Maxwell for
I'm
2
asking you,
days, and we released the entirety of that
Who are the cabinet
transcript.
members?
Yeah, but you just glazed over the, like glossed over the fact that she said cabinet members were hanging out with him.
I do not have that transcript in front of me. You're picking it piecemeal. The American public can read the entirety of that.
One last question, because you clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question.
Well, this is what happens when you, like everybody you said on both sides of the aisle, when they're being honest, that Trump's picks are woefully unqualified. They just are. But they're political yes men. There are people that are never going to tell him no, that will fucking lie, cheat, and steal for him, right? They'll do anything for him because they're sycophants. But no one's ever accused him of being like super qualified and like going to do a good job.
And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of
They are not allowed. You need a waiver. Okay. This is a day camp. This is for white collar crime. This is for Martha Stewart. This is for like insider trading and people that are way high up, right? It shouldn't be, but way high up, and they'll probably die in a regular jail, right? And they've got amenities, and they've got tennis courts, and they've got fucking exercise classes. It's not like a jail. It is a camp. That's why they call it a camp. It is a day camp. Anybody that has anything to do with sexual abuse or sexual charges or whatever has to have a waiver to even get there. Immediately, she got the waiver.
Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it
Prison.
suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protect.
Now, this is not every. If he would have said, if he would have called up and said, what about John C. Miller, arrested, February 17th, 1995. He just recently got moved to a facility in Texas. Would you know about that? Of course not. We were talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, that is currently being interviewed by the Trump administration. That's all over the news. That is your number one priority, was to bring out these files, this list, the Epstein list. Get the fuck out of here.
Protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do?
Well, he was arrested under Trump. What was Obama supposed to do?
new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Take control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet. Before I go to Senator Tillis, without objection.
No, we're not supposed to care because it already happened. And now they're doing something in California. That was his claim. We're protecting America and California crime, and that was a long time ago, so no one should care about it. Trump called them weak and idiots if they're still talking about Epstein.
Mr. Patel, I want to start off where we left off last time.
This is Cory Booker, I think.
Whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed,
Yes, sir.
did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
This is Trump saying, well, I'm going to put you in charge of the FBI, but we got to get those January 6 people out. You know that, right? And of course he did.
See.
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were
And I'm assuming
confirmed.
that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
How would he know what the mark is at the FBI? Like, what is the standard?
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, excuse me, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released.
And it still hasn't been.
And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony.
By the way, they gave him immunity, limited use immunity, which is just around like these issues. If he would just testify. He did testify and apparently said, we don't know because we haven't seen it, but that Trump publicly, or at least among them, declassified a whole set of materials before he left office. And that was what he had at Mar-a-Lago, and that he knew for a fact that Trump went through and declassified all those.
Oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case.
And he is being sued by a bunch of former FBI members that said they were fired for political reasons.
Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because
it would seem like he could at least answer this. Did you say that Trump declassified materials that were at Mar-a-Lago? Maybe not all of them, maybe not just one of them, but did you say that he declassified materials at some point?
The premise of your question is inaccurate, and
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. President, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
How do you know they asked that? They might not have asked that. Maybe I didn't answer it.
During your nomination hearing, you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, we'll discuss this.
Convenient.
Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all.
We've never had this level of, I mean, it's so crazy. The level of corruption is so fucking crazy. Like there should have been heads rolling when the fucking, the goddamn leaked fucking signal chat came out, right?
Safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to
it's not nearly as crooked as his eyeballs.
ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely false.
Have there been any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have.
He didn't say it was less safe. That never came out of his mouth. He said 20% of up to 20% of the FBI has been reassigned to work ICE. Of those 20%, did any of them, cover cases with kids or domestic terrorists or whatever?
6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have been
FBI
arrested.
Agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against
this is all true.
Have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad reassigned. People who defend children reassigned. You're not denying that.
These people have come out and said, I used to work this. I'm on ICE now.
Time and time again, attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it
But by God, we're rounding up brown people.
doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And
Yes, no one wants to work there. So they fired people saying they weren't upholding the standards, because that's a catch-all, right? You weren't upholding the standard. It really means, you know, you worked on a case against Trump, or maybe your Facebook is not very pro-Trump, right? And then they have to lower the standards to hire people.
You admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents.
Oh, thank you for the donation.
To keep up.
I just saw a donation on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you for that. I don't know why the alert didn't pop up, but I appreciate it. That was from Autumn. Thanks, Will, for helping me catch up on how fast our country is falling apart. But seriously, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency. And
yeah, did you see where Trump is basically begging the Korean? So basically, these Korean people were here to get a battery plant going. They weren't here to work that job. They weren't here as a long-term labor force. They were here to get the plant going and to train the Americans that were going to be working that job. When Trump had them all rounded up, it was honestly questionable whether they're here legally or not. They claim they are. There seems to be some documents supporting that they were. The Trump administration just claims they're not, but it was all off of a tip. Somebody called in a tip and said there's a bunch of Koreans down there. I don't think they're legals, and they rounded them all up. That pissed off the Koreans so bad that whether they're here legally or not, they fucking went home and are not coming back. And Trump is basically begging them to come back to get the factory going.
Undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership.
Yeah, but we're so much less likely to see a brown person. So, potato, I'd say.
I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as
Trump's going to try to pin a shit ton off them,
as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will.
And so it's part of Trump's plan. Like, the reason they were here was to move that battery manufacturing here as Trump wanted. They have to get it online, then they have to train everybody, hire everybody, do all that, right? And they're the people that know how to do it. A lot of it's proprietary technology and battery tech and shit. They know how to do it. That would have been excellent for American workers. They're like, no, get the fuck out of here. Round them up. Piss them off. They're not coming back.
Cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir.
at this point?
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my...
That doesn't bring this country together. Trump said the radical right, they just want law and order. The radical left will murder you. They're vermin.
Time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is
I
my
follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to
you
the division
want
in this country.
to not take
It is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you
my time
tell-
is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you. sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr. Chairman, one point of
Go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this
Obviously, everything he does is divide the country, right? Well, as long as you support Trump, no, but anybody else.
administration of this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons?
Double increase. It's a double increase.
Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seen 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase?
Well, a third of the American public. Trump thinks last year that 87% of the U.S. population died of drug overdoses. So I don't know if saving a third of the population is worth it, honestly. If 87% are dying just last year, saving 33%.
From last year, 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we're taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60%.
How is it that we used the crematorium to burn a bunch of meth and made half the dogs and all the workers sick? How is it?
In the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a broken record today. All this interest in FBI termination, yet my colleagues showed no intent or interest in when my whistleblower suffered retaliation over the past years, particularly the past 4 years. Indeed, one whistleblower has alleged that Brian Driscoll's insubordination, whether an agent is on a hot button case or not, they ought to be held accountable for misconduct and weaponization. Senator Cruz.
None of it's good. We'll just go ahead and tell you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, just like the rest of the federal government, there have been significant personnel changes at the FBI since President Trump took office. I want to better understand the scope of the turnover and the changes occurring at the FBI. Since January 2025, how many FBI employees have retired, resigned, been fired, or otherwise separated from employment? I need a number.
We'll get you a number.
What is the number? You don't have it?
Oh, wait, hold on for this one, because he just led into the Ted Cruz, didn't he? Is that what he said before Cruz speaks? Here's the Ted Cruz clip.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr. Chairman, one point of order.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI exceeding the
We just saw this part,
last year,
so let me skip ahead.
Whether an agent is on a hot button case or not, they ought to be held accountable for misconduct and weaponization. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I have to say, it used to be that to see theater, you had to go to the Kennedy Center. Now, apparently, you need only go to the Senate Judiciary Committee and see our Senate Democrats berating the director of the FBI, which, okay, it's not, partisan politics is not new in the United States Congress. But what is remarkable is what Senator Booker was berating Director Patel about. He wasn't berating him for failing to do his job, but rather he was furious for Director Patel for successfully doing his job. For 4 years, the Democrats under Joe Biden had an open border that undermined the safety of every single American. They allowed 12 million illegal aliens to come into this country to invade this country, and every single day Americans were murdered, women were raped, children were assaulted by violent criminals that Democrats released. Now, Director Patel, I found Senator Booker's questioning really bizarre. He asked you, have you reassigned FBI agents from human trafficking to immigration issues? Director Patel, are the Mexican cartels that are bringing people illegally into this country engaged in human trafficking?
Yes, sir.
What the hell does it mean to reassign someone from human trafficking to immigration? The greatest...
What the hell does it mean? Like, you understand this, right? Like, they could be in human trafficking and work on a cartel trafficking case, but they're not going to work on, is Joe Hernandez, did he miss his last immigration appointment? Let's go see if we can find him. You know what that means, right? Imagine you're a homicide detective and all the homicide, or let's say 50% of the homicide detectives in New York City are reassigned to meter maids, right? They're out checking meters and checking parking and chalking tires and writing tickets. And then Ted Cruz comes along and says, is it not true that sometimes people who commit homicides also double park? So what the hell does it mean to be reassigned from homicide to parking? Is that not the same? No, it's not.
This human trafficking that in the world has been over the last...
Tim Ballet would be there if he hadn't caught so much heat for all the rapey shit right before.
4 years at our southern border. It is modern day slavery that the Democrats still defend. They still defend those open borders. Mr. Patel also said, did you reassign FBI agents from protecting children to...
Right. Sometimes child abusers also don't pay for the parking meter.
Immigration. How many children have you found that were victimized by the open borders of the previous administration?
4,700.
4,700. And yet, oddly, I don't hear a Democrat here saying, gosh, thanks for protecting those kids.
35% increase year-to-date last year.
All right, I want to shift topics. And I want to shift topics to what happened last week. Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Is dead.
He was assassinated because of his political views. We're living in a time of enormous division and tragically hatred, and hatred that manifested in evil that we saw last week. Now, the FBI, working in concert with state and local law enforcement, apprehended what appears to be, in all likelihood, the murderer. And you did so in just 33 hours. So I want to start by just
Well, he was turned in, right? And you arrested the wrong guy twice and announced it on social media twice.
Congratulating you and the FBI agents and state and local law enforcement for successfully apprehending the murderer in less than a day and a half.
By the way, it seems like from internal, from people inside the investigation that had the dad and the youth pastor not have had suspicions and called and confronted, the dad confronted the son about it or whatever, especially after the rifle thing, because there was like his uncle's rifle that his dad took care of something. Anyways, they had no idea who this kid was. Like, probably the closest that someone's been to getting away with it that's ever happened. They had no idea who this kid was. It would be one of those things where, like, fucking 10 years later, we find out they arrested him because he went and did something and left another fingerprint, handprint, something, scanning in, whatever. They had no idea.
In the wake of that assassination, we have seen far too many people on the left celebrating the assassination. We've seen Democrats, we've seen activists cheering it on. We've seen tragic...
By the way, the party that said for years there's no such thing as hate speech is now coming after you for hate speech.
teachers in high schools, teachers in elementary schools, university professors cheering on the...
Yeah, he was way outside their search area. If he could have got back, like he was talking about in the Discord message allegedly, and got the weapon and got away like that, he was fucking way outside what they were looking for.
Kirk, you and I both knew Charlie well.
Idiot went on fucking Discord to brag about it.
He was a good friend. He was an extraordinary man. And I will say there's a great deal of discussion about what to do about it. Under our Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, speech is protected. And that's true even for vile speech. Someone can stand up and say the most hateful thing, and it's protected by the First Amendment. Nazis and Klansmen can march in the streets, and even though their speech is bigoted and horrible and racist, the First Amendment protects it. Conduct, however, is not protected by the First Amendment, particularly conduct that is violent. Violent conduct that is threatening others, that is harassing others, that is injuring or in this case murdering others is most assuredly not protected by the First Amendment. And so I would encourage you and the FBI to focus on conduct. Now, speech can guide you to those engaged in conduct. And I will say one question.
He almost said, skeet. I heard it.
That I have and many have. And I recognize this is an ongoing investigation, so I don't want you to say anything that would compromise the investigation. But what can you tell us at this point about what evidence there exists of other individuals who may have had prior knowledge of this assassin's plans to murder Charlie Kirk on September 10th?
Generally speaking, we've interviewed numerous people, family members and friends, including the partner, and to provide us with a detailed history of the knowledge he may have had, the suspect may have had prior to. We're still mapping out who, if anyone, was involved as an accomplice. As I said, the investigation is ongoing. We're also speaking to and going to interview numerous individuals online who were part of a chat group that was involved in.
I want to read you these messages and how they do not sound like a terminally online. What was he, 20 years old or something? Like what the, listen to this. Robinson, drop what you are doing. Now, this is a transcript. This is not like somebody went through and cut out all the slang and typed it up nice. And this is a transcript of the actual messages, okay? So, like, if he puts LOL, no one's going to put laugh out loud. Or if he puts LMAO, no one's going to put laughing my ass off, right? This is supposedly a transcript straight from it. They shouldn't be adding punctuation or taking away or correcting misspelling, nothing. But listen how it sounds like a boomer trying to sound thorough. I don't know. Listen, Robinson, drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. When the roommate looked under the keyboard, there was a note that allegedly read, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Roommate says, what? With like 15 question marks. You're joking, right? With 4 question marks. Robinson, I am still okay, my love, comma, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? 4 question marks. Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no. They grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering there. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it, you ask? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Robinson, if I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Robinson, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEC, so I don't even know. IDEK. If it had a serial number. But it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge, ooh, on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right? I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Robinson, delete this exchange. Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now. I'm not answering. Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Robinson, you are all I worry about, love. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Sounds like such a young kid. Terminally online. It's exactly what it sounds like. Not the FBI covering their fucking footsteps, huh?
This heinous assassination. And we're also going to work with our state and local partners out in Utah to find out what community organizations, if any, participated or had any foreknowledge of this information. But it's very much ongoing. I remind everybody that it's not even been a week since Charlie's tragic death.
And according to them, he only planned it for a week. So who would be this outsider information that outsiders that knew about it?
Is it accurate? It's been widely reported that the assassin's roommate was a transgender man who was transitioning.
I think that he knew if he is terminally online, okay? How did he know they grabbed the older guy if he was on the run? If he is terminally online and he was on the run for a day, he probably the fact that he committed this act, he probably went and watched as many streams as he could, as many angles as he could, as many breakdowns as he could, and probably knew the old guy and the student that were being questioned were literally, people were yelling at him, trying to spit on him and fight him and shit while the cops were dragging him away.
To be female, and it's also been reported that they may have been romantic partners. Is that accurate?
Yes, Senator.
And I assume the FBI is investigating. It has also been reported that there were transgender chat rooms that may have had some awareness of the plan to commit this murder. Is that?
This does not, like I said the other night, this does not rule out Groyper or a meme lord, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I can't believe we're talking about Sojak and Wojak and fucking Pepe the Frog and Keck and shit. Like, I can't believe we're back there, but.
Is that accurate as well?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
It's been reported that there were chat rooms of transgender activists that indicated some degree of potentially of foreknowledge of this murder.
We're still developing that.
Do you have any information, the bullet casings had on them both Antifa and LGBT wording on them? Do you have any indication of the source of those engravings and what inspired them?
As to the actual source, we're still developing that.
I want to encourage you in the course of this investigation.
They know that Antifa catches something in the hearts of boomers and terrifies them. Antifa only means we should all be anti-fascist. Everybody should be.
Absolutely go after anyone who aided and abetted.
Black pill was discussed today on Breaking Points. It's so crazy. And like, people are like, well, if he was sleeping with somebody dude, Nick Fuentes was fucking Catboy Cammy. Like, Nick Fuentes was live one time and accidentally shared the wrong screen, and it was hardcore man-on-man gay porn. Like, what are you telling me? Like, get the fuck out of here. if politics is a horseshoe, if politics is a perfect horseshoe, these people exist in the space where the horseshoe doesn't touch, right? So like if I don't know, what was I drawing nipples last time I was doing this? If politics is shaped like this, and down here we have the moderates or independents or whatever, and then we have far right and far left. So that would mean right's here and left is here. These people exist here. Like they just want to watch shit burn. They just want to do it for laughs. They just want chaos. They'll talk about how disgusting like homosexuals and transgender and not having a traditional family is, but then they'll participate in that exact fucking thing. It's fucking insane. It's like a weird self-loathing shame kink. It's weird to me, I guess, but obviously not to them.
But I want to more broadly encourage you, follow the money. The violence we are seeing is not purely organic. There is, I believe, significant money that is spreading dissension, that is spreading violence. Antifa. Do you believe Antifa is a terrorist organization?
Like, there are some of them that will flat out tell you they are not racist, right? They have friends in their lives that are different races. And they will share the most abhorrent fucking memes on the internet about, fucking skull shape and IQ tests and this, and will swear up and down to you they're not racist. Well, it's just funny. It's just edgy, right? It's just a meme. I was just trolling somebody.
Organization.
I believe Antifa is associated with a lot of violence in this country. As to its designation, I'll leave that to the appropriate authorities.
So I would encourage the administration to designate Antifa.
You're not the appropriate authority. You're the fucking head of the FBI.
As a terrorist organization to go systematically after Antifa. They've committed acts of violence all over the country. And the shell casings have multiple references.
You can't go systematically after Antifa. Antifa strategically doesn't have everybody should be anti-fascist. I don't understand this.
To slogans that Antifa has popularized. I believe there is considerable money funding, and I would note that I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act. Stop Funders Act would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses under RICO. I believe the money should be tracked and prosecuted under RICO. And both the Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots of a couple of years ago and the pro-open border riots in Los Angeles and other cities of this past year, I believe there was significant money.
Pro-open border riots. You mean when they were trying to stop you from dragging their community members out of restaurants?
Behind those riots. I'm not the only person who noticed at the anti-Semitic protests and violent protests on college campuses that many of the tents all matched. And so I would ask, would it aid your ability to prosecute these matters?
I think it's wild that MAGA is coming out right now and they're like, oh, he said something about fascist and how he doesn't like fascist on the bullet. It can't be one of our guys. So you're pro-fascist? You're just openly saying, like, we support the fascists.
Matters if Congress passed into law the Stop Funders Act and if rioting was added to the list of predicate offenses for RICO.
Yes.
Talk to me about the efforts of the FBI to go after the funders of the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses, the pro-open border protests in cities, and potential LGBT violence. Talk to me about the efforts to go after the money of those who are funding and promoting violence.
As I've always said, Senator, money doesn't lie. We've been following the money. And so that's what we're doing, issuing lawful process to organizations involved with criminal activity because the money's got to come from somewhere and it has to be funded somehow. So we have extensive investigations ongoing into numerous organizations that are related to violent criminal activity.
Dude, good luck. I think during the George Floyd protest shit that every major corporation in America donated to BLM.
Cutting off the money will make America much safer, and that is the core job of the FBI, and I thank you for doing your job.
Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, glad to be on this committee and take our...
All right, back to this one.
Not off the top of my head, and I want to get you the right number.
Changes occurring at the FBI. Since January 2025, how many FBI employees have retired, resigned, been fired, or otherwise separated from employment? I need a number.
We'll get you a number.
What is the number? You don't have it?
Not off the top of my head, and I want to get you the right number.
Would it surprise you to know that it's probably in the thousands, like 5,000?
I don't think that number's
Oh,
accurate.
you don't know. Next question. How many special agents or analysts have left or been fired from the FBI since January 20th, 2025?
Say, we will get you the numbers, and anyone that retires is of their own volition, and anyone that is terminated at the FBI, as I've said before, is done so because they have failed to meet the standards and uphold their loyalty and oath to the Constitution.
Yeah, so you say. Next question. How many executive assistant directors, or special agents in charge have left or been fired from the FBI?
Nick Fuentes went to one of his young adults workers of his, employees of his, and inspected the couch that he had been sleeping on to see if there was semen on it because he didn't want him masturbating.
Since January 20th, 2025.
Again, people leaving on their own accord or terminations were done by the standards set at the FBI that have been carried out
With this question, I'm getting
consistently.
to the leadership of the FBI, and you don't have that answer. Next question. Which field office, division, or directorate has lost the most personnel since January 2025? And do you have the answer to that question?
Yeah, actually, every single field office in the country, including Hawaii, has received a plus-up of FBI agents because we're pushing them out to the field.
Okay, so you're telling me that no field office, division, or directorate has lost any personnel since January 20th, 2025? That's your answer?
In Hawaii, there's been a plus-up. In every single state
Oh, I like.
we have located a plus
I like. I'm really important.
up for field offices across the country so that the FBI can continue the historic achievements it's done in these last 7 months. When you're talking about firings, you're looking for a media hit and a fundraising clip, and I'm not going to give it to you.
It doesn't matter under what basis they left. I just want to know how many have left. And I think your testimony is nobody has left. Next question.
Nope, that's not my testimony. You asked it one time. I answered it one time. You didn't get the answer you wanted for your clip.
Next
So you keep
question.
asking it, and I told you I'd get you the numbers, but you can keep asking it.
Which field office, division, or directorate has gained the most personnel since January 2025? You noted that there have been plus-ups, so which offices have received these plus-ups?
The greatest allocation that I believe was given to California and then Florida.
Where were those offices?
California and Florida.
Thank you. Director Patel, you often refer to FBI agents as cops. All of us, Democrats and Republicans, support the police officers who keep our communities safe. But while our states, cities, counties, and towns all employ police officers to protect our communities, Congress has empowered and equipped the FBI to take on missions that local police cannot, especially taking on terrorists, hackers, and spies. I'd like to assess how well the FBI is able to handle its specialized missions under your leadership. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating and preventing acts of domestic and international terrorism.
Uh-oh.
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted Donate Tier subscription. Michaela Robertson 81 gifted a Tier 1 sub to Donate T. They have given 57 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you for the gift sub. Welcome, Dominate.
And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone.
Are the
That's twice
names
as many
But they had to lower the standards to replace the people that they ran off.
The
as
people
before.
who took
Dude, you want to talk about who's hurting his ass? Dude, I don't know if it's where I was prior military or where I was a government contractor before or whatever. I get so many invitations to fucking join us since Trump took over.
the places of...
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
So you can attack them. I'm not doing that.
You're
People
not gonna
sitting
give
in
me the
those seats
names
are
of-
extremely qualified to handle the job. We
You're not
would
gonna
not have
give
the
me the names
results.
of
We would-
personnel who
we would
should
not
be
have the
on your-
reduction
Right,
of
fine,
violence in the
moving
state
on.
of Hawaii if we did not allocate the
Earlier-
resources doing that. Now, to lead the mission of arresting 23,000.
in charge of the FBI's national security and of domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals
Why can't she have the name of the what?
this year alone.
Are the
That's twice
names
as many
of the
as
people
before.
who took the places of...
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
So you can attack them. I'm not doing that. The
You're not
people
gonna
sitting
give
in
me
those
the
seats
names
are
of-
extremely qualified to handle the job. We
You're not
would
gonna
not have
give
the
me the names
results.
of personnel who
We would
should
not
be
have the
on your-
reduction
Right,
of
fine,
violence in the
moving
state
on.
of Hawaii if we did not allocate the
Earlier
resources we
this
did.
year, FBI counterterrorist special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Reportedly, these counterterrorism experts were returned to the jobs they trained for in late January after Iran threatened to retaliate for our strikes on their nuclear facilities. Have those experts remained in the jobs they trained for since that time? Yes or no?
FBI agents' primary responsibility is exactly what they are assigned to do. We always work with our interagency.
I hate. It doesn't matter what questions asked, they're going to answer something else.
They return to their positions.
If you're not going to let me answer, why don't you just do your soliloquy in the 4.5 minutes you have
I am
left?
not asking for a soliloquy. It's just a yes or no. Are those people who were returned to their jobs still in those jobs? Yes or no?
They never left.
What was that?
They were returned to their jobs.
They never left their primary job. It is a surge of resources in law enforcement working with the interagency to combat violent crime and reduce violent crime in historic proportions.
That's your testimony. Okay, Director Patel, the FBI is also the lead federal agency for investigating cyber attacks and cyber intrusions, both by foreign nation states and by non-state hacker groups. Since President Trump's inauguration, the executive assistant director in charge of the criminal and the cyber branch and the head of the FBI's cyber division have both left the FBI. What are the names of the people who replace them in those positions?
The cyber branch is one of the most impressive at the FBI. 409 arrests this year, 169 convictions. That's a 42% increase from the same time last year. So any suggestion that the FBI cyber division is not operating at full capacity and better than ever before, the leadership at the branch is implementing these changes necessary to attack the cyber and ransomware infrastructure operators.
You know why they're important? I want to know who has those positions, since the people who originally were there.
Supremely qualified individuals have those positions.
Are they?
Supremely qualified individuals.
Who are they? What are the names?
You're not getting
You don't know. Special agents who investigate cybercrime were also reassigned for immigration enforcement. Have those expert investigators returned to their duties? Yes or no?
All agents remained on their primary duties while surging to allocate resources for interagency operations to the Homeland Security task forces across this country.
So are you...
I mean, that's just impossible, right? You can't do your primary job while also being an ICE agent, right? And not at the same capacity. There's no way.
See, I'm not getting the yes or no answers. I get all this explanation. So there you go.
No, you get the work that the men and women of the FBI are doing. You don't want that.
Additional personnel cuts to the cyber division in the future?
The only people that will be terminated at the FBI will be those that violate their oath of office or fail to meet the high standards of the FBI.
Did you guys see that? The guy on YouTube that figured out, so he found there's like these birds that can mimic sounds almost perfectly, right? If they hear them enough. Not like parakeets and shit, but like a different, I don't even remember what the birds are called, but they can mimic these sounds perfectly. And he was able to break down a picture of a bird into sounds, play it to this bird. The bird repeats it. He records the bird, pulls it back into his computer, decodes it, and it's a picture of a bird. You can store data on birds. That blew my fucking mind when I saw it the other day. It's probably like 2 or 3 weeks old now.
Director Patel, the FBI is meant to be the tip of the spear in combating terrorism against the United States from both foreign and domestic sources. It's also our lead agency in fighting the hackers who target our businesses and critical infrastructure. But instead of a specialized role fighting these kinds of terrorists, hackers, and spies, you have the FBI playing the role of local police and helping with immigration enforcement. I'm going to move on to my... You know, you've been asking some questions about the changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But, you know, one question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because
God damn, I hope it's not the full-ups that fucking Kegseth did.
Because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
So are you requiring these
assessed.
kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy...
Excuse me.
It was a Starling. Who said Starling? Yeah, it was a Starling. Good guess.
You better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing
Anyway,
one pull-up
Mr.
is not
Patel,
harsh,
I
and there
am
are always
really
medical
concerned.
exemptions to that.
I'm gravely concerned by the state of the FBI under your control. And in fact, you are willing to take a cut in your agency of almost $500 million. So the FBI is losing dedicated employees, decades of expertise and specialization, leading to loss to early retirements, firings, and reassignments to immigration enforcement or conducting local police work. Thousands have already left. For as long as you remain as the head of the FBI, I fear the number of departures and summary firings will continue to grow. Mr. Patel, before the vote on your nomination of this committee, I noted that your most significant qualification, this is not just something that I noted, but others, your most significant qualification was your 100% loyalty to President Trump. And I fear that that continues to be the motivating factor in your position as FBI director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Director Patel, did you, anything you wanted to say now?
That is an entire falsehood. You can delete my 16 years of government service to multiple administrations all you want. The fact is that I was a public defender.
Oh, you're talking about the Hamas strike that they notified Trump ahead of time. But he said, I didn't know until after it was over. I couldn't have stopped it if I wanted to, yeah.
Security prosecutor. I was a House intelligence staffer. I was a deputy director of intelligence. I was a chief of staff.
He said he was very unhappy about it, and he wouldn't have let it happen. But he had advanced knowledge of it.
After the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense, I led the
almost an hour before the strike or
Those
something.
are just some of the jobs I held in my 16-year career. There was no loyalty then. There's no loyalty now to anything but the Constitution.
Senator Brett.
Yes. Well, before I begin, I want to thank Senator Hirono for what she said, acknowledging that there are physical differences between men and women. Talking about that.
All right, I got to show you guys one more thing. I'm super tired. I'm going to go home and get some rest, but I do have to show you another thing. Hold on. You're going to enjoy this. At least I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys know Scott Wadros that we check out all the time just to see how he's doing? You know what I'm talking about? Scott Wadros. Someone convinced Scott Wadros that he was a suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting. Okay? Someone convinced Scott that he was a suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting. And he had to make a video to come out and clear his name.
Hello.
Wait, this isn't the shooting one, but this one's funny as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm doing.
I grabbed the wrong link, but still.
Green represents, by this video I want to make.
This right here is good life advice. Okay, if an animal gnaws your limb off, just the pain's all in your head.
If y'all get attacked by an animal, whether it be a wolf, coyote, whatever.
Wolf, coyote, whatever.
And they tear off a limb. Don't be discouraged. Don't think.
Don't be discouraged.
Life is over because either your arm or leg gets ripped off. Just be positive. For example, Bethany Hamilton. I'm almost through with Soso, and yes, based on a true story. It's where her left arm gets bitten off by a shark. She overcomes all odds. All odds.
Look, if a cougar or a mountain lion or a coyote chews your arm off, don't get this depressed. You can still be a surfer.
I mean, Miss Hamilton, Miss Bethany, you're a good inspiration for people who lost limbs by an animal attack.
How old is Soul Surfer that he's just now almost done with it?
Animal or otherwise. But
2010?
I don't know if they allow me. But I'm going to speak for them. Thank you.
Wait a second. What? You go? I don't know if they'll allow me, but I'm going to speak for him anyways.
Allow me. But I'm going to speak for them. I haven't lost any limbs.
He has not.
Animal or otherwise.
Animal or... I haven't lost any limbs to an animal or otherwise. Thank God.
But I don't know if they allow me. But I'm going to speak for them. Thank you for showing them, I mean, and also.
Thank you for speaking to amputees. As a veteran, OIF veteran, a lot of people lost limbs. I appreciate you speaking out for the amputee community.
I'm not hoping I get attacked by an animal and have one of my limbs fall off. But if I do, you would be my inspiration. Just keep going. That's what that movie is about. That's what her life is about. That's what I think. I mean, you can be the best person you can be with all your limbs, no limbs, or even missing one limb. You're still you. Even though you lost a limb, you know.
I can't let me do this one. We'll watch that one, the full one, some other time.
Hey, Dad.
All right, here we go. Someone accused Scott of being the lead suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Dad. Haven't I been here at the apartment most of the time? Yeah. Only time when I go out of the apartment is to either go to the Coke machine.
You want to know the way they convinced him that he was a suspect? They took his profile picture from TikTok. They put it in one of those AI art apps where it turns you into a sketch. And then they posted it saying that the police had just released a sketch of what they thought the shooter looked like. And then someone tagged him in it and said, man, this looks a lot like Scott.
Dad, haven't I been here at the apartment most of the time? Yeah. Only time when I go out of the apartment is to either go to the Coke machine or to Circle K, am I correct? Yeah. Yeah, this one person is made a video saying that I killed Charlie Kirk.
I shouldn't laugh, but goddamn, it's funny, dude.
And that's not true, right? No, it's not. We don't even have a car. No.
That's not true. Why? We don't even have a car.
That's not true, right? No, it's not. We don't even have a car. No. How is that possible? They caught the guy that killed Charlie Kirk. And they probably already caught the guy too, right? Yeah, they have. Yep. So you see, someone blocked him. Had a video out. Because they already caught the guy who killed Ronaldo, you know? So he's already been caught. He's doing his time. Peace out.
Is that not true? We don't even have a car. You got him. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to go get some rest. I worked till late, or I was up late last night, and then we had the tournament. I had to get up at 6 o'clock this morning. I'm just fucking tired. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow, fully rested. I'll see y'all then. I appreciate you guys coming out. I didn't want to take 2 nights off in a row, but thank you guys for coming out tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. If you want to support the show, do it at buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. The website's still fucked up, but buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer works fine. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Let us see you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick.
Liam did decent in his golf tournament. It was the first time he's ever had to play all 18 holes. Usually they only play 9. They played 18 holes. It started at 8 o'clock this morning. I think for 18 holes, he's a freshman. He shot 125. But honestly, he shot some better shots than some of the seniors there at certain times. He just needs... He needs a coach, like a personal, like a trainer, but I can't find one. I've offered to pay. I've signed up for websites that supposedly are about coaching and this. I can't find one. I've contacted multiple people on Facebook to advertise for it, but I'm trying.
You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the bass and the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped.
Good to see you guys tonight, especially after I took last night off. Y'all have a good night.
Trump in between, put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me oh my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit.